Shabbos is Shabbos Mavarchem Elul. And he would say that even the fish in the sea tremble. And all of Elul, L'David Hashem Oiri V'Yishi, we're davening, the Shofar is blowing every single day. And hopefully we're arousing ourselves to tshuva, and comes Slichas, and comes Rosh Hashanah, and Aseres Yemei Tshuva, and Erev Yom Kippur. Remember the eating we all did on Erev Yom Kippur? The mitzvah d'oraisa, eating on Erev Yom Kippur. Pardon? That's right. And the whole day, mamish. And Yom Kippur. And Motzi Yom Kippur. Building the sukkahs, buying a daled minim. And sukkahs, simchas beis shveva. All the avoid of sukkahs. And now finally it's the last day of sukkahs. And those people that from the beginning the King has been with us. All these days. It's been 52 days since the beginning of Elul. 51 days. Which is the gematria. No. Ono Hashem Hoshia No. And now it's Hoshanah Rabbah. Hoshana, please. So the Shalom Rebbe would say, some of us have been a bit lazy for the last 51 days. But now the King is about to leave. Now's the time. Get all your koiches together. That's why Jews around the world, we stay up tonight. We realize like it's the King is leaving. Ask him for whatever you want. Anything you want, the gates are very, very open now. And now is also the end of the din. People think the din was on Rosh Hashanah. No, the din is Yom Kippur. Hoshanah Rabbah is the end of the din. It's the gushpanka de malka. It's the final chasima b'toy chasima. It's a double chaisim, a double seal. You know when it's double seal, not just the envelope is closed, but it has the wax with the king's seal on it. So you know if somebody tampers. But the chitzonim can't get involved, the klipas can't get in. We're sealing our din l'toy, we're sealing it. That none of the dark side could get in to mess around with it. So I heard today from the Yeshiva. So he said, if today is like Yom Kippur, it's a chasima. He said from the Bnei Yisachar. So shouldn't we need like 10 days of tshuva first? It's like Yom Kippur. We shouldn't have like another Aseres Yemei Tshuva. So he says we do. There's 10 days from Motzi Yom Kippur to Hoshanah Rabbah. Except this part is the tshuva me'ava, is the tshuva from Simcha. From Rosh Hashanah until Yom Kippur, it's din, it's slichas. And we have to go through that. We have to fix and be medactic with ourselves and be particular and go into the things that we still need to perfect and deal with that stuff. That comes now, Motzi Yom Kippur, you're building the sukkah, you're buying daled minim, simchas beis shveva. Everything now is simcha. What's the simcha now? You get to this part now of Hoshanah Rabbah, and you realize the only thing I want to do is be davuk to turn mitzvahs. That's what we're up to now. All the time of all the avoid of Hoshanah Rabbah, it's just Hashem, I just want to be davuk in you. Acha shawalti meis Hashem, shivti beveis Hashem, kol yemei chaya. Which means, I was saying that since Elul, but maybe I was one of the lazy guys that never really chapped it. I sang it, but like, it wasn't bepinimius. And comes the whole of the avoid of Simchas Beis HaShveva. You know, they did Simchas Beis HaShveva also Leil Hoshanah Rabbah in the Beis HaMikdash. The Rosh Yeshiva said tonight, Mistama was the biggest one. It was the most simcha. Because now a Yid knows that all I want, and that's the Taich, Zeh Kol Adam. The end of Koheles. This is who we are. I just want you, Hashem. I just want Torah and mitzvahs. Nothing else. Everything else is Hevel Avalim. The world is not offering anything. Hevel avolim. So, but now it's coming from simcha. So we have to begin the process of going in, of why we're so crazy. We stay up all night. People put on kittles. We're so crazy about the Aravas and about hitting them on the ground. And why this is the night and the day of David HaMelech, King David. The whole world loves King David. Isn't it amazing? Humanity knows that King David is like, he's the one. King David is the one. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam she'akol niyeh b'dvaroi. Amen. So we have to open up Ishbitz to take us there. There's a famous Gemara, my dear friends. We're entering now David HaMelech. Okay? Everything now, from here on out, is the world of King David. Hashem should guide us on this journey, whichever ones of us stay awake. I'm talking to myself as well. To connect our rucha berucha, to connect our neshamas to the neshama of David HaMelech. All the Ushpizin are here with us. But this is the day of David HaMelech, to connect ourselves, mamish, to David HaMelech. David HaMelech is Mashiach. It's a very, very auspicious day of David Malka Mashiach. So let's enter the world together of David HaMelech. Mamish, Malchus. With enough siyat d'shmaya, when I turn around next for the water, there's going to be a Beis HaMikdash over here. B'ezrat Hashem. Amen. So says the pasuk, Shir HaMalos LeDavid. That David HaMelech has the 15 Shir HaMaloses. Hashem loy gava libi, v'loy rama einai, v'loy halachti b'gdoilus v'niflois mimeni. David HaMelech says, I never went with a haughty heart. Remember, David HaMelech was a king. Most kings, you associate them with being very haughty people. David HaMelech says, I never had a haughty heart. Let's see what he means. So the Ishbitzer, the Soid Yesharim, brings the Gemara in Sukkot. Amar of Chizda. Many of you have heard this Gemara before. It's crazy stuff. Amar of Chizda. Lahau mirabon dahave kemesader agadato kamei. There was a rabbi that was learning different agadatos. You know what agadatos are? The different, I don't want to say stories. Sayings, the... That's right. Different Messiahs. Messiah that we have. Story sounds too... The Zohar says, anybody who thinks that the Chumash is just a bunch of stories, I don't want to say what the Zohar says. He should just basically leave the world. A bunch of Bible stories or something. This is reality, literally reality. Avram Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak Avinu, when he dug the wells in Hoshanah Rabbah. He's digging up the wells of Avram Avinu. What is going on? Hoshanah Rabbah is the most mysterious day of the whole year. Everybody knows, there's something going on, and nobody knows what's going on. And we're davening for water and rain. It's all about rain and Hoshanas and going around, sitting at long davening. It's one of the longest davenings. Many of the tzaddikim, they will end like minutes before Shabbos. They're going to daven all day tomorrow. Like mamish, like Yom Kippur, like the whole day. So Rav Chizda was saying in front of one of the Rabbanim that were being mesader different agadatos, and he said, Shmi lecha, hani chamesh esrei mailos keneged mi amron. The 15 Shir HaMaloses, who said them? David. Amar lei. Hachi Amar, Rabbi Yehuda, B'shah shekara David shisen. David HaMelech, did David HaMelech build the Beis HaMikdash? Who built the Beis HaMikdash? Shloimeh. But David HaMelech started to get the Beis HaMikdash ready. He prepared everything by the Beis HaMikdash. And all he wanted to do was build it. He wasn't able to. But he was digging these things called shisen. Shisen, tunnels is, I don't know if you can call them tunnels. Wells. David HaMelech was digging these deep, deep wells in the makom of the Beis HaMikdash, where the Mizbeach is, where we do the water libation, which that in itself, what does that mean? So David HaMelech is digging these very, very, very deep shisen. And all of a sudden he starts digging down, and kafa tehoima, all of a sudden the waters of the depths, mamish, all the way down, the tehoim, starts bubbling up. Now when the tehoim starts bubbling up, you got to be careful. So the tehoim starts bubbling up, uboy lemishta fa'alma, and this tehoim wants to mamish destroy the whole world. It's going to drown everything. It's going to just overflow and make a flood, more than a flood. It's going to be the end of humanity. So Amar David. So what did David HaMelech do? He said Chamesh Esra Milas. He said these 15 Shir Malises that we have in Sefer Tehillim. And what happened to the water? Baruch Hashem. It went down. Now, does anybody hear a kasha here? The water's coming up to destroy the world. So what did David HaMelech say? 15 Shir Hamalises. So the Gemara says, it shouldn't have said Shir Hamalis. So it should say 15 Shir Hayardis, the 15 Shirim to bring down the water. So the Gemara asked the question, Yardis mibayle. So he said, Amar le hayo ve'idkar milsa. Now that you mentioned the Agadita, let me tell you the whole story. What was the whole story of the Agadita? It goes like this. At the time that David HaMelech was digging the Shisin, the water wanted to come up to destroy the world. And David HaMelech asked a question. He said, Itkarsa milsa hachi itmar b'shas shekara David Shisin kafa tehaima uba lemishta fa'alma avar David mi ikka diyada ishar lemichtav sham shem bechaspa v'nishte b'tehaima. Does anybody know? There's a piece of pottery. If I take this piece of pottery, David HaMelech knew this piece of pottery was from the 6 days of creation. If I take this piece of pottery and I put it on the place where the water is coming up, I could shtup up the water, but the only thing is a regular piece of pottery won't work. I need to write Hashem's name on it. Hashem's name has the power to stop the destruction of the world. The only problem is if I put Hashem's name on this piece of pottery, I'm going to erase his name. Am I allowed to put Hashem's name on the piece of pottery at the expense that it's going to be erased, but it'll save the world? Does anybody know the halacha?
Saving a life.
So who knew? David HaMelech had a Rav, Achi Teufel, who was there, a mentor. And what kal v'chomer did he make? From the Sota woman, from the suspected adulteress, that if Hashem allows his name to be erased in order to make peace between a man and his wife who he suspects maybe was not faithful, and that's going to make shalom between two people. So imagine making shalom for the entire of humanity. That everybody will be saved. So David HaMelech said, that's a good kal v'chomer. He took Hashem's name, put it onto the chaspa, put it down there, and made the water stop. But then he realized, the Gemara says, that the water was going down. That was it. There wasn't going to be water for the world. Now you need to have some water. The world can't get too dry. You need to be able to have moisture. When the water is closer to the surface, By the way, we did this in the Negev. We brought up the water, right? And made it shady. Instead of it being so hot on the surface, we allowed the water table to come up. It was an amazing thing. So David HaMelech knew we have to bring the water up, because if the water is close to the surface, everything will be moist. It'll be luscious. It'll be fertile. So David HaMelech said, there was no water, because Hashem's name brought it all the way down. I'm going to say 15 shir hamalises and bring it up. So he brought now up the water, 15 shir hamalises, and it was 1,000 amas below the surface, and it was just perfect. And that's the Gemara. Okay, what is this Gemara talking about? That's a crazy Gemara, no? 15 shir hamalises, water is going to destroy the world. David HaMelech's building shisin, digging down, the Tahoim comes up. Who knows what's going to happen? So here comes the Ishbitz. Ubir bezeh. What is the Tahoim? What is this thing called the deep, deep depths of the world? What is this? By the way, all of this Gemara is talking about Kabbalah and is talking about something that's happening inside of you and I. This whole Gemara is inside of us. It's not something that happened, it's amazing that you could say right here. That's not only what's going on. It's inside of us right now. So whoever's awake for this, we're going to go inside of you right now. We're taking a spaceship into you. I don't know if SpaceX could do that yet. They could take you somewhere outside of you. But can they take you in you?
They're working on it.
They're working on it?
Yeah. Neuralink.
Elon, he learned this?
Neuralink. Not to prove us. They started human trials.
To go to your inner Tahoim.
To the brain. Neuralink.
The question though is, where are they taking you?
Nowhere good.
Are they taking you to the Tahoim?
Definitely not.
So let's go inside. The Tahoim is a mashal. Tahoim also is a place, is the depths. But the Tahoim means the deepest, 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 deepest hidden place. You know, the regular Tahoim means dig, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. You can't, if you were to look into the Tahoim, into the Shis and the David, you can't see the bottom. It's like a well, deep well. It's deep, 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 deep. Like to the core of the earth, like all the way, deep, deep. The Tahoim is what we call the place that's so hidden that Hashem hides the greatest light, the greatest secrets, the greatest light, the greatest beauty, the Oraganas, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way down. We'll see the light of David HaMelech all the way down, the light of Mashiach, all the way down. And the most hidden, and it's hidden. And Hashem exactly hides the most wondrous, beautiful, beautiful lights in the furthest places. All the way, all the way, all the way down. And like it says, this great mystery, a famous line from Sefer Yetzirah, which we attribute to Avram Avinu and Adam Arishan, that Noitz Soifer B'tchilasam, that Hashem connected the end to the beginning, the secret of the end and the beginning. That this deep, 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 beautiful, beautiful light is the whole purpose of creation. But Hashem had to hide this light. Because of people that were not going to use this light properly, they wouldn't do good things with it. This is the light from the beginning of creation. And obviously, who do you think is looking for this light? David HaMelech. He's digging. Now, he found it and it was going to destroy the world. He's going all the way down, looking for this great light. But before David, this light has to be so concealed over. Can't just have this light available. This is the light that it says when you're in your mother's womb. It's a ner doilek al roisha yumabit b'soifa oilam ad soifa. That there's a light above your head, and you look from one end of the world to another. It's not a physical light. It's a light of relationship. You could look into somebody. You could see them. Imagine seeing into people. The tzaddikim says that this light is gunners. It's gunners in the Torah. It's in Geniza. So the tzaddikim have this light. That's why they could look. They see into things. You could see into the future. You could see. You can. So what are the Rishonim going to do? They use it to play the stocks. They use it to manipulate. Not good things. This is a light that's very, very powerful. But this light has to be hidden. Many coverings. You have to hide this light. So Hashem hid this light in the deepest of places to such a degree that people have no idea and they don't think this light even exists. It's all the way in the Tehom. It's deep down there. Ad she'einu nicker kemat labriya. Until this light, which is really the way that Hashem wants to run the world. He wants us to have this light. And this is the light of Hashem. The deepest revelation of Hashem, of how Hashem runs the world and His love for us in an absolutely revealed way. But the light is so hidden that many people think that it doesn't even exist. Many people think that they weren't even created. And there are people that have PhDs in denying God. Well, God is animating their hand and moving the pen that's writing the very words that are rebelling against the God that's animating them as they're rebelling against God. That's an amazing level of hiddenness. So this light is very, very deeply hidden. And David HaMelech is looking, though. David HaMelech's whole life is to look for this light. So what happens? So David HaMelech finds the light, and the light is going to come and just take over. And we weren't able to experience that yet. It would have destroyed the world. All that David HaMelech wants is just kavod Hashem in the world. Kavod Hashem means your light Hashem to fill the world. That's David HaMelech's Acha Shoalti. He just wants the whole world to have this light, which we'll see is the light of Hoshanah Rabbah. He wants the whole world to have this light, and he's pulling it up. It's going to destroy the world, so David HaMelech has to be careful with this. But then he realized the world can't exist, so he brings it up just enough. He brings it up just enough that it's under the surface, enough that you can grab it. And this is, by the way, inside of us. There's a light hiding deep inside of us. And you need to start pulling that light up. Yeah?
Why is it there and not elsewhere? Why is it so deep? Why does it need to be that deep?
So that's the whole of avoid of Hoshanah Rabbah. It has to be in the furthest place. Because exactly there is where the biggest ore is, in the darkness. That's going to be the whole avodah of David HaMelech, of showing exactly where you didn't think Hashem was. He's so there. And David HaMelech's whole avodah is he wants to bring that light out, that there's no more coverings. That even in the darkness you find Hashem. That's going to be the whole world of David HaMelech, which is really the world of Mashiach. Now when Mashiach comes, For somebody to walk around and say, everybody come to the base medrash, Hashem's in the base medrash. That's the, pshita, my kamashmalan. It's pashut. But to say that Hashem was with you when you were in places of maybe not the best reputation, places of ill repute, in the dark places, in the challenging places, in the low times, that Hashem was there, that's a very big light. No, what do you mean? He was so hiding. He was so hiding in those places. He was there. Really? He was in those places? David HaMelech's light is that's really where he shines the greatest. Like the Zohar says, Leis nahayra elaman denofik min chashoicha. There's no light except the light that comes out of darkness. Shraga b'tihara mai tahave. Light in the middle of the day, what is it? Light coming out of a dark place is So David HaMelech wants to reveal this light from the darkest of places and to show you that there's no darkness. It's all Hashem. Okay, we're going step by step here. We're starting to try to pull up the light a little bit. Only 3.5 hours to go. Now here we go. David HaMelech's avodah is the following. Shahaya megala zois astara v'amechasa aj niskala mefurish or etzoyni yisbola mitoy kol ha-mesachim v'astaras v'zeh haya b'koyachoi mishum. How did David HaMelech have this koyach to show Hashem's light in all the dark places, in the Tahoim? Shaya meisur misalik mitzidoy kol ha-mesachim astir misaor hainu shema oilam loy haya boy negia l'toyves atzmai klal. You know what David HaMelech's secret is? David HaMelech is doing nothing for himself. This is not always the most popular things to talk about nowadays, because everything is about me, and how could I get good things for me? But David HaMelech's whole avodah is, how can I do this for Hashem? It's all about kavod Hashem. Nothing else. Ki'im lekavod shemayim. And that's what he said in the pasuk in Shir Malas. Loy gava libi. I have no guide. There's no haughtiness in my heart. It's not about me at all. It's only about you, Hashem. And I want this light to just spread everywhere. Which, by the way, is the job of the Jew, is to bring God's light to all of humanity, to the whole world. Or lagoyim, just bring the light out. That's why everyone loves David HaMelech. All of humanity knows, like David HaMelech. You don't hear the whole word time about Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak is Yitzchak. But David HaMelech, everybody loves King David. King David. Because his whole avodah is just bring the light of God to the world. And that's it. Not about me, just about Hashem. But he was a king. What do you mean? Ki kol magmas chayfetz levava loy hayarakim hu toives haklal she'ahu melech al Yisrael as gam hu maskim liyos melech al Yisrael. He said, I guess somebody has to be king. Okay, you want me to be the king? Okay, I guess I'll be the king. But if somebody else is better at the job, then we'll let him be the king. David HaMelech had no inyan in being the king. It's like, Yankel, you're the king? Gewaldig. Gewaldig. Actually, it's going to be you, David. Really, me? You sure? Okay. None of my other brothers, I guess I'll do it, if I have to. As gam hu maskim liyos melech al Yisrael, vel bildi toives haklal rak mitzida loy gava liboy, veloy haya eitz loy shum negia lemelucha, lechein haya bekoyen chavoidasa. That's why only David HaMelech has the power to dig all the way to the darkest places and bring up this light. If you're doing it for yourself, you can't go to those places to reveal Hashem. Because you're going to the dark places because you know what's in the dark places, we don't want to say. Teifas Atzma. Nice over there. In the dark places. If you're looking for Averas. By the way, just to wake up the oilam. You know, at the Chassidim, we have payas and stuff. So, they say there was one time, there was a chassid that he was on a trip, and sadly, he saw like a bar in the distance. It was a long night, and he just was traveling and this, and he turns off in the distance, and he knows it's not a good idea, but he was in a very low time. And he turns off to the bar, and he hears the music. And it's moving. It's happening. So he's like, okay. He starts rolling up his long coat, Okay, he takes off his gartel, puts it in his pocket, starts pulling up his beard, tuck it in a little bit, starts getting his payas, forget it, it's too much work already, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like what? So much work. It's not so good if you just, take this off and easy to walk into the club. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. You want it to be very difficult to have to walk in. So you understand? The club is the place of Toivas Atzmai. You're going there because, how did David HaMelech go? You can only go to those dark places if you have no inyan for yourself. That's why we have an inyan. The tzaddikim, big tzaddikim could go to certain things. You know of Grossman? Big tzaddik of Grossman? They used to call him the Disco Rebbe. So he would go in. I remember Yom Tov Glazer telling me about this tzaddik of Grossman. So if Grossman would, mamish from the tzaddikim of Yerushalayim, he would go in to the club with his shtreimel on a Friday night. He's like dancing into the club, like the shtreimel, like, Rabbi, what are you doing here? He's just like dancing in. Like, come, and he would just bring people like this, and he would dance out with 50 people to his house to make kiddush. He danced them all out to make kiddush. You know what I'm saying? You got to go get them. They're hiding in the club. Pull them out. But there's light there. There's big light there. Only if you're David HaMelech. So David HaMelech, because he has no inyan to himself, there's no toivas, even the hanas atzmai. David HaMelech, the halacha is like David HaMelech b'kol makom. We paskin like David HaMelech b'kol makom. That's the halacha, you know that? But he says, I don't want the halacha to even go in my name. Even though it's maybe Gula Olam, I don't want any name on a building. I don't want anything. Nothing. That's the world of David. We're in David tonight. This is David HaMelech. There's different universes, but this is the world of David HaMelech. Anybody wants to know about David? This is the world of David. Ishbitz is every word is David HaMelech. Every word is Mashiach ben David. Anybody wants to know what Mashiach is? This world is all David HaMelech. Every word of Ishbitz is dripping, is nectar of David HaMelech. Yeah.
How could David Melech not have any
Gaiva.
any desire for himself?
That's the world of the king of Israel. He hollowed himself out. The Zohar says, Libi chala b'kirbi. He fasted nonstop. And the Zohar says he learned Torah nonstop. He'd be sitting around. Chazal say, kings if you're a king, you know what that means? King? He'd be sitting around with in royal situations. And the kings would be talking about their military advances and accomplishments and spoils. And David Melech is he was invited, he's the king of Israel. He's in the corner learning a Tosfos and a Pnei Yeshua. They're like, David, you want to, he's like, I'm learning Tosfos. I'm not interested in your, king stuff, you know what I'm saying? Your military prowess. David Melech was all Hashem. Every move of David was for covered Shemayim. Nothing else.
What about Goliath?
Nobody else is going to do it. I'll take a slingshot. Fine. Sheva.
Yeah.
So the Gemara says that anybody who says that David was chayte is eina elatoya. He's mistaken. It's a very deep story. Chayte is that he said he did an avera. David said himself, I made mistakes. But for us to project onto David, the Gemara says,
Who are we to judge?
The story is very deep. Everything with David is very deep and complex. And he put it all into Tehillim. That's why David went through everything. And the entire theme of Tehillim, many people say all Tehillim tonight, the entire theme of Tehillim is that it's all for you, Hashem. And I mess up, but it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all just to be Marba Kavod Shemayim. And I fall and I'll get up and it's all for you, Hashem. It's the world of David HaMelech. Yeah.
So David wasn't always like that?
Yeah. The Sfarim say that David HaMelech had a very big Yetzer Hara. And he killed it. Remember, he was redheaded. So it could have gone both ways. It could have been either Shofar Dam, Chas V'Shalom. It could have gone one way. Or he was able to fight the Milchamas of Hashem. David HaMelech he killed his Yetzer Hara. So the Gemara says, he had no inyan for himself. And therefore, only that person could go all the way down to the deepest depths and grab this light. As or hayakar, listen to these words, or hayakar hatsofen v'gonas. This precious light that's hiding deep, 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 deep. And therefore, you know what the Gemara says? The Gemara calls David HaMelech a famous line, a famous saying that David HaMelech called the Bar Nafli. You know what the Bar Nafli means? The one that keeps falling. Like a bar mitzvah, he's in the category of mitzvah. He's the Bar Nafli. He's always falling. It means he's always going down. He's always trying to go deeper and deeper to find the light, to reveal the deepest hidden lights. And he'll go all the way. Because he says, not about me. Hashem, you want this light to be uncovered. I'm going to go and find it. I'm just going to go find this light. Like the Gemara says, Ubegin da ikri Mashiach Bar Nafli, and Mashiach is also called the Bar Nafli. Mishmir l'cha imasai osi Bar Nafli. Did anybody know when Bar Nafli is coming? So the Gemara says, who's Bar Nafli? Amar le Mashiach. Mashiach Bar Nafli? What do you mean? Mashiach? He should be like, he's the king. Yeah. This is Mashiach is called Bar Nafli. Dichsiv. V'yoymahu okem es sukkos David ha'noifeles. Sukkos David ha'noifeles. David HaMelech was always falling.
You said in Benjamin.
That's right. Yeah. David HaMelech is the Shechina. We're not talking about Harachamanu Yakim Lanu Sukkos David ha'noifeles. We're not just talking about Hashem. Like put a bunch of pieces of wood together. Like King David's sukkah fell. Like any EFG guys will help me. Put it back together. It means that the sukkah of David himself has fallen, which means David himself, who's the Shechina, which means the Shechina herself is, so to speak, broken. God's presence is hiding. It's broken. You don't see it. It's like the princess has been taken out of her kingdom and she's been abused. She's had her royal garments stripped off of her. She's been beaten down and they ripped off her diamonds. Pick her back up. That's what it means. Pick back up. That's the sukkah of David. Pick her back up. Bring her back. Bring back the majesty and the royalty of David Malka Mashiach. So the Gemara says, but David should be called the Bar Kima, lo Bar Nafli. Harachamanu Yakim Lanu. No, the Gemara says that's not really the essence of David. The essence is not that he gets up. The essence is that he keeps going lower and lower and lower. You know who's also the Bechina of David Malka Mashiach? Rabbi Nachman, the Baal Shem Tov. Rabbi Nachman has a lot of different Bechinas. But of going so far down. If anybody's been here to Uman is the craziest place maybe in the world. Uman is crazy.
Crazier than here?
Yeah, it's different. Uman is a certain energy of. It's like Reb Nachman's there, and when you go to different tzaddikim, the Gemara says that tzaddik afil b'misasam nikram chayim. A tzaddik, even when he's not in this world, he's alive. He's way more alive. In the place where his body is pure. It's like oil that goes into a vessel. So you ever try to clean out oil from your Hanukkah cups? Doesn't quite come out. There's always a residue. So the tzaddik who put the neshama, shemen, the shmoina, his letters neshama, that's why it's always above. The oil of the tzaddik seeped into the body to such a degree that even the body is like soaked with the oil of the neshama. Therefore, even where the body is buried, the soul of the tzaddik is there, especially by the yurtzeit time and all sorts of things. So you go there, and there's an energy of Reb Nachman. So every tzaddik does this own thing. You go to the Balatanya and Hadich, it's like going to a king. Everything is like very proper and royal, and it's like, you feel it's like majesty. You go to Reb Nachman, it's like there's like coffee, tea, rugelach floating around, everyone's like singing and dancing. I remember I walked in there, for some reason I felt like you sit like in your chair, like going to a therapist, you like sit down in the chair and feel comfortable. And all of a sudden I'm just like, I have these like crazy thoughts, like old stuff and old memories. And you get this feeling like you're sitting by a therapist, and Rebbeina's like, just speak it out. What's going on? And you're like, no, but that's like, you don't want to go that deep into the depths, Rebbeina. Like that's deep in the Tehoim. It's dark down there. It's like, no, you don't understand. The deeper you go, the greater the light we could reveal. So there's this feeling of, that's why it's very therapeutic. Uman is crazy. It brings deep stuff. It pulls this deep light. That's the world of David HaMelech. It's to go all the way down. But only somebody who's a bar nafli and he has nothing, even toivas hana. David HaMelech says, I'm giving it all back to you, Hashem. Nothing for themselves. These are only certain tzaddikim of libi chala b'kirbi. And that's why for the Melech of Yisrael, it's called Leis Megarme Klum. The Melech of Yisrael has nothing. Pass this around to the oilam. And just smell. There's no bracha. It just wakes up the neshama.
It's good on Yom Kippur.
Yeah. It's a bechin of Yom Kippur. All of a sudden you're back. We just Jared's back right now.
New life.
Right?
It's like Heisenberg made that.
What's another one?
Oh, this is some Yom Kippur stuff, eh?
Yeah.
I told you it's a journey tonight. This is step one.
Where do I get one of these?
Right here.
There's still 3.5 hours left.
No, only 3.25 at this point. We're moving.
Oh, that's crazy.
So David HaMelech is called Leis Megarme Klum. Now you know what David means? What are the letters of David HaMelech? David HaMelech is a Dalet, a Vav, and a Dalet. What's a Dal? Dal means a Dallas. Dal is poor. A Dal. Dal is a poor man. That's right. David HaMelech says, I've nothing. I'm impoverished. What do I have? You're the king of Israel. I have nothing to myself. So David HaMelech is Dal. And even when he gets stuff, Hashem's like, you're the Melech. Even after he gets it, the Vav, and even afterwards, Vidal. And he's still Dal. He's still nothing. Mamish nothing. David says, Leis Megar, I'm nothing. Leis Megar Meklum. That's why the king of Israel has a special mitzvah of Ksivus Sefer Torah. We all have a mitzvah of Ksivus. The Melech has his own special mitzvah to have his own special Sefer Torah Do you know where he puts it? Near his tefillin. The Gemara has to talk about where the tefillin goes and where the Sefer Torah goes. He walks around, he goes into battle with his Torah attached to him, a Sefer Torah. Because the king of Israel says, I don't make a move without whatever Hashem says. That is the king of Israel. He's nothing. He's just a vessel. That's Malchus. Leis Magar Meklum. That's the He'achrayna. That's the Shechina Kedosha. Nothing without you, Hashem. That's the Aravis of David Malka Mashiach. Is nothing. There's no Tam, there's no Reach. Only somebody like that can go all the way down to the Tehom, could dig the Shisim and go down, to pull out that light. They can go into the disco and bring out the Yidden to make Kiddush. To go all the way down. Whereas opposed to Magog, Gog is Gimel, which means I'm a Goimel. Ich bin, I'm a somebody. Look, Goimel, right? The Gemara says a Goimel, a Gimel is somebody who's a giver. I'm a giver. So Gog is a Gimel. I give. It's all from me. And even after Hashem is telling him, it's all from me, Gog. No. I'm still a Gimel. He's the exact punkt verkehrt from David Melech Mashiach. David Melech is the tikkun of that. Is Dal, ve'oi Dal. David. We love David. We love David. Yeah.
How big is this Torah?
This Torah?
No. How big is like the Torah that he wears?
The Gemara talks about it. Enough that it can go on your arm. And still have your tefillin. So David Melech is digging. And David Melech is saying, there needs to be a king. Great. If it has to be me, I guess I'll do it. And this is what the Gemara means, that the Iker of David Melech is that David Melech is the Bar Nafli. Because the Bar Nafli means he keeps going down and down and down and down. Not the Bar Kima. Is that he goes down. He looks for light in everywhere. Okay, this Torah is about to make a move. You got to pay attention now. There's a major move this Torah is going to do right now, which is this is where really Ishbit's just something happens. Okay? And this is why that David HaMelech, the day of Aravas, this is all the day of David HaMelech, because the Aravas have nothing. They have nothing. The Aravas, what do they have? They're nothing.
And no smell, no taste.
No smell, no taste, no nothing.
They represent the Jew that has nothing.
No Torah, no mitzvahs. That's what David HaMelech is looking for. Because he knows in him is also something big. In a certain way, bigger. Okay, here we go. You ready for this? Oh. We're going to bring now a Zohar. It's a bit of a cryptic Zohar. The Zohar says something very interesting. It's going to take us some time to unfold this. Okay? So the Zohar says the following. And by the way, by the end of this Zohar, we're going to get to the secret of why we hit the Arabas 5 times. What's going on with that? You didn't forget about that, did you? It's going to happen at the end of, we're all going to be davening Vasikin, and just at the end.
And we say Yerushalayim also, no?
Yeah.
What does it talk about?
It's going to talk about this.
Oh.
To sweeten everything, to sweeten all the gevuras, the chamisha gevuras. So says the Zohar. That the hitting of the Arava on the ground has the power to do something called answer the voice that is around in the world that has not been lost but not been answered. There are certain voices in the world that they've never been lost, but they're not answered. Sounds a bit spooky.
What's the Arava again?
Pardon?
What's the
The
Arava?
Arava is like the...
Yeah, Rav is the willow branches.
The one with the smell.
There's certain voices. Talas kalan inen deloy is avidu la'almin. There's these three voices, the Zohar says, they never get lost. They go out, but they're like trapped. You know, we don't have the ears to hear this. Tzaddikim can hear these things. You know, do you know that there's like Chinese music playing right now? Can you hear it? You don't hear it? If you had a shortwave radio, you could hear it. Which means it's in the air. You just don't have the antenna to pick up on it. Tzaddikim, their antennae are picking up on all sorts of frequencies. So, sonar frequencies. It's very interesting things. So there's these three first of all, just learning about these voices starts to clue you into these voices. There's three voices that never get lost, forever, until they're answered. They have to be answered. Other voices go, and they go up to where they need to go to. They're answered. They go to Kisei HaKavod, they go to different spiritual worlds, they go where they need to go. Other voices go out, but they just go around the world. And they never stop, they're just screeching. So what are these voices? Ve'inin talas kol chaya, and these are them. The first one is the kol chaya b'shaita, the iu al kalbita. The first is the voice of a woman who's giving birth, and she's screaming, and the child is coming into the world screaming. Intense. I don't know if you've ever been by birth. It's a lot of screaming. Yes?
Saying that these voices can't be heard,
If you're the Zohar, you could hear them.
but like if it's so loud, like anybody who walks by that room can hear the voice.
So even after the voice has stopped, a scream went out. It's reverberating. It's reverberating around the
You
world,
can't hear that reverberation.
unless you're one of the tzaddikim. So that voice is not lost. That scream is not lost. It's going somewhere. It's a very intense scream. It's a very intense thing. The moment of the birth, the screaming, all the associations with that. That moment. And the child who's screaming, the crying, and the mother. And it's a lot of screaming. Even though you know it's a lot of blessing. It's a crazy blessing. I'm always very moved by the Journey song, the A.B. Rottenberg song. Sometimes we play it for the guys. It's called Conversations in the Womb. Have you guys heard it? It's very, very moving. It's all about two twins. You guys know it? You don't know it? It's all about two twins that are in a mother's womb. If we play it, man, everyone will just start crying here. It's so moving. And it's all about two twins that are in the womb together. And one of the twins says to the other, like, we're going to get out of here. Like there's a very exciting world that's coming. And the other one is like, don't be so fickle. Like, what do you think? Like, this is it. Like, after this, like, we heard that people leave this, but then there's nothing. That's it. Like, you leave this womb and you're done. The story's over. The other one's like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is just the beginning of the story. And the other one just like, be rational. And the other one's like, I am. I know there's more to the story. I have a tradition there's more to the story. It makes sense there's more to the story. We were created just for this? And between us we have a Masorah, an unbroken Masorah. So what happens? One of them's on his way out. And the brother was like it's like, oh my goodness, my brother's gone. He died. And the end of the song is what he thinks of these screams, like, they don't understand. The other side is, everyone's saying Mazel Tov. And he's born now. It's an analogy of this world to the world to come. That this whole world is like being in a womb. And we think that death is like, oh no. But really, whatever a womb is to this world, imagine what this world is to the world to come. Imagine what we're going to be birthed into. It's all about a transition. Transitions are not easy. So this scream here of the mother and the child is deep. It's very deep. There's a lot going on in this. That's voice number one. What's voice number two? B'shaita denafik. Voice number two is the voice when a person leaves this world. The scream of the person leaving this world. Which is a very intense scream also. We should all live long lives until 120 years, B'ezrat Hashem. And the third voice is a very interesting voice. Kol nochash b'shaita de pashat mishcha is the voice of the snake when it sheds its skin every 7 years.
The voice of the what? The snake?
When it sheds its skin.
Snakes make noises like that?
You don't have the antenna, dude.
You need the antenna. You got it.
Wait, what was the second voice again? I was writing notes.
The second voice is the voice of the soul leaving this world, which is also a scream. The third voice is the voice of the snake as it's shedding its skin. That's the right word, shedding?
Yeah.
Is that a more technical word than skin? Or we say shedding its skin?
Scales?
Scales? Skin?
Scales.
Shedding its scales. And then it makes that, you've seen, you ever do like a zoo or something and you see the... And these voices, Ozla Misaifa Almad Saifa Alma. And the Zohar says these voices just travel around the one side of the world to the other side of the world. And they're never answered until certain things happen. How do these voices get answered? So he says there's certain voices that get answered. Like Torah and Tefillah. Your Torah and your Tefillah go up. These are voices though that it's like it's a scream. It's like a tefillah, but it's lost. It's lost. You need somebody to go grab it. Each of these voices we're going to see, these are all analogies also. Each of these voices are very deep. We're going to see somewhat scary voices. And whenever you have deep and scary things, in walks in David HaMelech. So let's see where Ishbitz is going to take us. Okay? We're now going to go through these three voices and how we fix each of these voices. Okay, so you ready to fix these three voices? So voice number one, Hainu calendar reis v'tzloisahem yudun heitiv shehem boikin rekin v'salkin la'ela am yesh koilas v'tzakos shenidchu v'zeh oilam she'ein oina oisam chas v'shalom. Oisana koilas nikrim calendar loisalkin. These three voices are called the voices that they don't go up. They don't go up where they need to get to, but also they don't get lost. So they just go around the world. So kol chai b'shaita diyasva al kalbita hainu. What is this voice? This is the voice of the woman who's giving birth and the scream of the mother and the child. Because what's happening at that moment? What's really the scream that's coming through the mother and coming through the child? What is the scream? The scream is the Yuridus HaNeshama. It's as the neshama is coming from the highest world. You know where our neshamas come from? Our neshamas are chotzav metachas kisei hakavod. Chazal say our neshama is coming from underneath the kisei hakavod. This is not like a physical place. It means our neshamas are coming from the most intimate connection with Hashem. Like the Yeshiva always says, our neshamas are the one step below Hashem. As close as you can get. Which is different than everything else in the world. Man de nafach mitoichei nafach. Just read the Tanya in the second parak in Tanya. It'll mind boggle you. Just learn that parak over and over of Tanya, you will be a religious person. Just it shows you how big your neshama is. So when the neshama is coming from all the way up there, coming down to this world, not so pashut, you know? Netflix is down here. Smash Brothers. I don't even know what other examples I could use.
There are a lot.
There's a lot, right? Too many.
What if you go there?
I won't go there any more than maybe a little bit. So many distractions. So the neshama is basking in absolute kirvas elokim, and now it's being, there's nothing physical here, it's being pulled down to come down to this world. This world of, I'm like looking at, what? Coming down to the world of this. What is this? You know how thick this is? It's barbecue, it's a gas. It's a gas. Gas ruach. How does that integrate in your body? Just this gases. Then add you know what I'm saying? That's thick. That's thick. So the tzaddikim made a big thing to smell a lot, because the smell is like very refined. The smell is something that the neshama gets hana from.
How many of those do you have? The mystery box?
So as the neshama is coming down to this world, it knows it's going to come into a place of gases. The KFC. That's a lot of olam haza in a bucket. You know what I'm saying? With the dipping sauces, it's just thick. It's just thick.
So many rooms.
It's a savage, just so thick. The neshama is shaykh to this. Like the mashal of the Bas Melech from the Mesilas Yesharim, like if a commoner goes to marry the Bas Melech, so what can the commoner offer the Bas Melech? Nothing. You know where I come from? This world is challenging. I'm having flashbacks of some of my childhood right now. Do you know how much Nintendo 64 I played? You know what that is? Mario Brothers, you know that game?
Mario Brothers.
Hours. You know, you like turn.
That's Mario Kart.
That's Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, yeah.
You know, they're all the same thing. Ein Chodesh Tachas Hashemesh. It's all the same inyan of just involvement in this world. Oh, I got a flower. Yeah. That like we can like go supercharged. A mushroom. They knew what they were doing. It's crazy, this world. There's so many distractions. So the neshama is coming down into the geshem maguf. From the Mokum Maliosa, Lislabesh Begeshem Maguf, as Yesh Latzaka Gedoyla, Ma'oid, Manua Nigzar Lealerid Lamokum Safek Vecheshe. Why am I coming into a world of so much darkness and so much fakeness? You wake up in the morning, what do you do? If you go to Rabbeinu Dov Ber's class, you know what to do. You come to shacharis. That if you didn't, I don't know what to do. Sleep in. I don't know. What's for breakfast? I don't know. Like, what do I do? It's so many sfeikuses. Ki chefze yoyse shetia shaychenes b'mokum mayla harama b'mokum abihiris k'de'is b'medrash shachadov haneshama azu oil v'yoris beguf v'mara la Hashem v'mala kol haaretz k'vaydai. The neshama is coming down. I don't want this. So, excuse me, as the neshama is coming down, it's coming down. The neshama shows everything. You should know, this whole world is filled with me. You should know, this whole world is filled with me. Hainu shaneshama roitza tamid la'alois l'mokam abihiris v'mar la'Hashem yisparach sheyarviach harbe yoyse b'zeh ha'olam ha'sofek kasher toitzi yoker mizoylel. As the neshama is coming down, the scream, I don't want to. And right as the neshama is coming in, this is crazy, Tyrus. As the neshama is coming in, Hashem shows the neshama that everything here is filled with Hashem's light, even that bucket of stuff. That's funny, like, in the lunchroom, all the guys like lined up, like, barbecue sauce, you got any in there? Sweet chili. I can't have some schnitzel without my sweet chili. It ran out. Sweet chili. I need my sweet chili. You won't manage without the sweet chili? I don't know. It's not going to be the same. That's for sure. So as the neshama is coming down, okay, now we're in the world of David HaMelech. The neshama was worried about the sweet chili. But you know the world of David HaMelech? The world of David HaMelech is, you don't think Hashem is also in the sweet chili?
Wait.
You're saying because we transitioned from, what's that one, barbecue?
That's
sweet chili?
The brown one's barbecue.
The barbecue?
Yeah. The red one is sweet chili.
Sweet chili.
Well, what about Hashem's sweet chili?
Wake up.
The neshama is coming down to this world of barbecue and sweet chili. Bless you.
Distractions.
Yeah.
And the neshama is like, I belong in the palace of the king. What am I doing down here? In this world of schnitzel, barbecue sauce, and sweet chili, and video games. Get me back up there. So right at that moment, this is a scream. How does the scream calm down? And the baby stops screaming. The mother also stops screaming. The baby stops screaming because Hashem at that moment shows the child, I'm completely in this world, even in the sweet chili, even in the Tahoim, even in the darkest places. And the neshama, and Hashem says, you're going to get more down here than you would staying up there. Because you're going to mine diamonds down here. You're going to pull precious jewels out from dark, dark places. You're going to find pearls at the bottom of the dark ocean. You're going to refine out gold. You're going to be moitzi yokar mizoilo. by finding me in the darkness, you're going to find so much connection that you would have never had up there. And that calms down the neshama. And therefore, al yidei zeh nisheres behaguf, benaicha. That's the only reason that the neshama actually stays in the guf. Otherwise, it would leave. It would just go. But it stays down because of this medrash. Because Hashem shows the neshama that in this world you could find me. Even in the darkest places. You could find me in this world. And that's what happens when we come into the body. And that's what the Gemara says, that there was a machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Did you hear about this machlokes? For 3.5 years, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel were arguing. Is it better that man should be created, or better that he should stay up by the kisei hakavod? What do you guys say? What do you think? By the way, they talked about this for 3.5 years. It wasn't like, they sat down and after 5 minutes, they made a decision on the matter. It was 3.5 years of discussion. And then the Gemara says, Nimnu v'gamru. Nimnu v'gamru means they pasken. They came to a conclusion. Nimnu v'gamru, noyach loy la'adam shaloy nivra mishen nivra. It's noyach loy la'adam. How do you translate that word? Noyach loy la'adam. It's more comfortable that a person should not have been created. And now that he's created, it's good that he is. So all the tzaddikim point out, it doesn't say better that he should not have been created. It says it would have been more comfortable had he not been created.
Like convenient?
Yeah. Way more convenient to stay up by kisei hakavod.
Why?
Because down here there's sweet chili. Now you see it.
And lots of it too.
And lots of it. There's lots of distractions.
But
And you're in a war. You're in a spiritual battle for your sanity.
if the good can be revealed through the sweet chili,
Let's say it can, yeah.
elevating the sweet chili.
That's right.
So it's like
But is that an easy thing to do, or do you get lost in the sauce?
whoa.
You know what I'm saying? Not easy. Only David HaMelech can do that. Only David HaMelech, because leis megar meklum. Only David HaMelech could go mamish in. But on the day of David HaMelech, we're mesugel to grab some of this. But you have to be an Arava stikayid. You have to be a leis megar meklum. You have to be a bar nafli. You have to be a kairish shisim dikayid. Somebody who's willing to go all the way down to bring the Shechina back up. You have to be a Baal Shem Tov dikayid. And therefore, you're right, even though it was noyach loy, it was easier. But you know what? It's not better. It's better that we're here. It's much better that we're here. Toiv loy la'adam shen nivra mishaloi nivra. Ki Hashem yisbalach loy shalach shum nefesh mi Yisrael zeh ha'olam lahefsid chas v'shalom. None of us were sent here to lose on the deal. Never, ever, ever think that. If we're sent down here, it was only to make on the deal. It's called long-term gains, long-term investments, my friends. Long-term investments. We're in for the long game here. It would have been so much nicer to stay up by kisei hakavod. And you're screaming coming into the world. This is not an easy world. The neshama is like, where am I? Look at this thick world. It's crazy. Technology has made things crazy. Insane. We're being bombarded by stuff. So it's much easier not to come. It's much better to come and to fight the good fight, to fight the fight of David HaMelech. Ki im laharviach, Hashem brought us down to this world to make on the deal. How much? A lot. A lot. The boiteach v'yedua Hashem yisbon she'neshama tieh mervachas harbe al yidei yiridosa lezeh ha'olam ha'sofek b'zeh she'yeh moitzi yokem ezoilam al kol ha'pachad hu mitzad ha'odam. Hashem is certain this is good for us. Hashem is not worried about the investment. He says, you're going to make on this. We, mitzideinu, we're still like in the world of Safek, which is all Amalek. We're still in this world of Safek. But Hashem says, I know I'm sending you down here in something that you could do. And therefore, Al Kain Misyara Ula Yatsid Chas Shalom Kad. Kan V'noyach loy shaloi nivra mishanivra L'chein yesh loy tzaka miyoid. And therefore there's a big scream. V'shas hoylada. V'zoyis atzaka nikra b'zoyraka. This is the scream. This is the first scream. It's not answered. This scream of, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Shem, you say I'm going to make it on the deal. You say I'm going to make, what are we up to from the beginning of Bitcoin? 8,537x on your investment. You're going to make way more than that on this investment. But I don't know. It's crazy down here, Hashem. It's hard. Maybe it would have been better just to stay there. No, Hashem says, I want you to be moitzi yoker mizoilel. Pull out riches from dark places. Hashem believes in you. And therefore there's still this tzaka. But when does this tzaka get answered? And this tzaka goes around the world. But you should know, this tzaka does get answered. There's a time of the year where this tzaka, this cry, this scream of, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm getting lost in the sauce. I don't know. I don't know if I can make it. There's a time of the year that this scream is answered with another scream. It's answered with the scream of the shofar. The shofar is the scream of the soul of, I will make it. Hashem, you're the king. An absolute confidence. Hashem, all we want is you. And therefore, I'm not going to get lost. I'm going to be able to pull out all the gold and all the silver and dedicate it all to you, Hashem. That's voice number one. Ready for voice number two? So voice number one, he just concludes that it's the tzaka of the shofar that awakens absolute certainty and confidence in Yisrael, b'simcha, that we're going to come down into this body, this gashmiistic body, and we're going to be able to deal with it. And the shofar is a very deep panemiistic call. It's a cry. And when we hear this call of the shofar, we strengthen ourselves. It gives us what's called tkifis. It gives us how do you translate? Tukif. It's like strength, is power. It gives gewaldige power that we're going to be able to make it through this world. Everybody, the Jew looks forward the whole year for the shofar. Everybody loves the shofar. And even though women are not chayiv in shofar, every woman goes to hear the shofar. They desire. Their neshama doesn't need it because they're not chayiv. Mitzvah saseh shazman gram, but they feel like they want to hear this voice. It's like It's such a mitzvah that's chaviv. And people blow tons of tkiyas. Certain communities, like, they blow tkiyas after tkiyas after tkiyas. What's that?
About 100, yeah.
I mean, even after 100, they're blowing more tkiyas and more tkiyas. By Ichimah, they probably blow 1,000 tkiyas. All the different shitas of tkiyas, the Teimanish tkiyas, and the Hutus and the Tutu, everything. All the different tkiyas. Different shvarim, different truas, different tkiyas, everything, all the permutations. They want the tkiyas. Because they know this is the kol panimi. It's absolute confidence. I'm not going to get lost in the distraction of this world. We say, Tein l'chacham v'yachkim oid. If you give words to the wise man, he'll be able to develop the wisdom further. So I've given you enough to work with for the shofar. It's now the ball is in your court to work with these words. Tein l'chacham v'yachkim oid. Now voice number 2. Kala de barnash b'shatet nafik nishmasa megufe. The next voice is the voice. We should live long lives until 120 years. When our neshamas go back up to the kisei hakavod. Says a lot of things about what we have to do up there, and we have to answer. We have to. It's din. Ki zoisat sakahu ke'inyan ma'amorim zal halavai sheti hayitzia kedbia. So the Gemara says it should be that, like, the way we leave the world is like the way we come in. V'lazeh b'shas hayitzia me'aguf yesh goydel tzaka ki b'zeh ha'olam i'efshar shi hayitzia min ha'olam kedbia la'olam ki la'enei ha'odam, meaning it's nicer to come into the world seemingly than to go out. You know, one's a mazel tov, a toiv ha'netiv, and the other one's baruch da'ina emes. From our eyes, even though alibi the emes la'mitoi, is a plan for everything. Leaving this world, like we said, is going out of the womb into a much bigger world. But mitzidenu, from our perspective, you can't say that the Yitzhiyah should be like the Bia. The Yitzhiyah is not the same. It's horrible. Why? Listen to these words. Ki le'enei ha'odem nidme shehaguf nifsad v'neda legamre. From our perspective in this world, it looks like the body is done. You know, like, who knows? It's gone. And it's crazy. Most people don't even think about this. C. Meyer said a very strong thing one time. He said, there's nobody in the entire world right now that was here in 1903. 120 years ago, right? So think about 1903. Think about the entire world population. 1903. How many billion people? A few billion. Every single one of those people are not here. Every single one. 1903 is not so long. We have videos. Every person is not here. The entire world has changed over. It's like, oh. All of a sudden you're like, wow. You have a moment of like, it doesn't go on forever. But nobody thinks about it. That's one of the ikr things of the Yetzer, is just don't think about that. So he makes you not chaperai. Because if you knew that this is only 120 years, we should mamish live long lives, you do chaperai. So the ikr avoid of the Yetzer, just don't think about that. So halavai, that the Yitzhiyah, the Gemara says, should be like the Bia, that as we leave, it should be like pleasant, like coming in. But from our perspective, it doesn't seem that way. Because most of the world, they're just like, what was that a famous comedian once said? You know, I knew that death was going to happen, but I was hoping that I wasn't going to be there when it happened. Something like that. I knew I was going to die, but I was hoping I wasn't going to have to be there when it happened. It's like, I know somewhere like along, just hoping I could be like, playing video games or something when it happened. So that scream, that call that goes out is going around the world. That call that goes out is going around the world. So how do we answer that voice? You know who answers that voice? This is so crazy. This Zohar is crazy. That voice is answered when the Kohen Gadol goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim and says the Shem Hashem. Because all of Yom Kippur is about connecting to the world beyond this world. That there's no death. Yom Kippur is Yom HaKadosh, where mamish, there's no life, it's all life. So that's the Yizkor on Yom Kippur, is bringing all the neshamas, calling them all down to be with us. That's why he goes into Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is the place where all the neshamas were created from. Tapping into the beginning of the story of all souls. Davening for Mashiach. It's all one long story. We're mamish like angels. Angels don't die. It's all one story. The world, that voice, that scream of I thought this is going to be the end, and the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur says there's no end, Reb Yid. It's one long story. Yes, Rafael.
Now that we don't have Kohen Gadol.
So if you go to Itchy Myers on Yom Kippur, and you see him like turning his siddur upside down and looking at the Shemus, which is what the Kohen Gadol was mechavin in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Bris Menucha, I'm telling you, you feel like you're with Kohen Gadol. I don't know what that is, but I know what I experienced. You feel you're mamish with Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, in Lifnai v'Lifnim.
Where?
Itchy Meyer, Morgenstern, and all the tzaddikim. They are the bechin of Kohen Gadol, going Lifnai v'Lifnim. So even though we mamish, you're right, we don't have mamish Kohen Gadol, going Lifnai v'Lifnim, we have a me'ain of it. We have a taste of it. So I always want to be with tzaddikim for Yom Tov. Because they're going to wherever the Yom Tov is meant to go, and you're in that ruach. They pull the ganze olam up, and the kibbutz. And never the Kohen Gadol, ma'oira Kohen Gadol b'yom HaKippurim b'zeh shemazkir b'mikdash es Hashem ha'meforish. Ki b'sgal Hashem ha'meforish man here hakara meforeshes ba'olam she'ein l'shum davar shemahave Hashem yisborach heder v'isbadlus. Nothing that Hashem made is going to just go to waste. Like, why would he make a body if it just goes back in the ground? That's the way it seems with fleshika oigen, with our eye, our olam hazadika eyes. No, everything has a purpose. Yom Kippur is kulai olam haba, Shabbos Shabbosim. We're not in this. You realize all the shamas connecting to all the generation, which is the ikr koyach of Amalek, to take us away from connecting to all the generations. So I heard from Zucker, beautiful word, that when it comes to the milchama of Amalek, milchama la Hashem ba'Amalek, the arch nemesis of the Jews, midor dor. That milchama, that Amalek is fighting this milchama with Hashem, midor dor, generation, generation. There's something missing from those words. Dor, dor. It should say dor vidor. Where's the vav? All the other times that we find door and door, there's always dor vidor. Malchuscha, malchuska, umemshaltecha, b'chol, dor v'dor. Everything is dor v'dor. Dor v'dor nagid godlecha. Everything is dor v'dor. Because by us, it's all about dor v'dor. We're connected to all the generations. The Jew is always connected to all the generations. Amalek, it's only you. Forget about what came before. Forget about what came afterwards. What's coming afterwards. The Jew is connected to everything at the same time. That's why even though the Jewish people were not into idols and statues, obviously, there was an interesting thing that was happening in the world in the last number of years, that people were like tearing down statues. Like founding fathers of America. As if to say, like, we don't come from there. Founding fathers are pretty, noble people. The Constitution has a lot of very noble concepts. Extremely noble. Religious concepts. Like all men are created equal. So the Rosh Yeshiva would always say, we believe in all men are created equal. But you can only say that statement if you believe the first three words. All men are created forwards. All men are created. There's a creator. Once there's a creator, then we could talk about equality. If there's no creator, then maybe it's might makes right. Maybe we're not created equal. Maybe we're not equal. Maybe it's might makes right. Survival of the fittest. All men are created. There's a creator. Interview somebody on the streets. Go into Times Square. The bottom of the Tahoim.
They're not going to know.
Nobody's there now?
No, they're not going to know about all men are created equal. They don't know the Constitution.
They don't know that statement?
They don't know. I promise they don't know. They don't even know like 3 states. They can't name 3 states. I've seen videos. It's true. It's bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad.
So that's door.
Yeah.
This is all we know. What do you mean? You come from somewhere. The Constitution is pretty important. Like, extremely important. You should know you come from somewhere. Everything that we're all about is midor v'dor. It's all about door and a door and all the generations. And that's what the Kohen Gadol is tapping into on Yom Kippur, is all the neshamas. And that's the yizkor of Yom Kippur, is drawing all the neshamas down. Whenever there's a yizkor, that's what we're doing. You're drawing all the neshamas down. For all the generations. That's why the Ushpizin, it's all about connection to all the generations. That's Elokei Avram, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov. We're always connecting door v'dor, all the generations together. Heard a nice word from Moshe Wolfson, geschmack a little zog, that the Ushpizin are in Gan Eden. The halacha is mitzvah potem in a sukkah. So you're in Gan Eden. How do you come down into what was that sauce called? Barbecue sauce, fried chicken wing land? To come into a thatch roof hut, they should be putter from coming down here. Elamai, the Ushpizin come. So it must be that the sukkah is at least Gan Eden. Otherwise there'd be a din of mitzvah potem in a sukkah. Right? All the generations, we're bringing everybody into the sukkah. The Yid is very, very much into bring everything, bring it all, integrate everything. Integrate everything. And that's when that voice of the soul leaving the world is finally answered on Yom Kippur. And therefore all those who pass away during that year and the voice is going around and not being answered, comes the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur and he answers that voice. What about the third voice? The third voice is the mysterious one. The voice of the snake when it's shedding its skin. What is this voice? Kol nachash v'shaita de poshet mishchei minei. So this is all an analogy, but the Zohar says that it sheds its 7 years. Something about 7. 7 represents the totality of this world, right? This world is the world of 7. The Maharal speaks about this at length. Everything about this world is 7. 7 notes on the musical scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And then do is already the next scale. You can't add another note in there. When Mashiach comes, there'll be an 8th note. Not a flat or a sharp. Another note. Try to wrap your brain around that for a second. Do. No, that's a sharp. Do, re. Just try it. It's like,
Possible.
how? Oh, because when Mashiach comes, it's going to be another reality. And then in Olam Haba, there's going to be 10 notes. You excited for Olam Haba?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right attitude.
That's amazing.
And that music is gonna slap.
Pardon?
That music is gonna slap.
It's going to slap. That's a technical term. When the beat drops on a 10-note octave, could you imagine? Right? It's unbelievable. Yeah, the music's going to be good. It's going to be the Olam HaNagina, the Sfarim say, is the highest of the worlds. Olam HaNagina, the world of song. So whoever likes song is going to love when his neshama travels through the spiritual worlds. It's got to be holy song. Not so holy song, and it holds you back. Careful of not holy song. Be very careful. Holy song goes in there, weaves its way in. The Al-Shech HaKadosh brings in Shmuel that when Shaul HaMelech was super depressed, he had what's called Mar Shchira, Lo Aleinu Chas V'Shalom, into the darkest place. By the way, who was able to bring him out of it? David HaMelech. And what did he do? How did he bring him out of the Mar Shchira? With music. With the music. It was the only thing that could pull him out. He played harp for him. He pulled him out. Which means holy music, and he's the holiest musician in the entire world. Holy music takes you to good places. Says the Al-Shech, but not good music could put you, God forbid, into the worst places. A lot of times when a person does tshuva, they start like singing like old songs. And all of a sudden like, oh my goodness, what were those words? He didn't realize.
I've been there.
Music comes from, this is all the reasons it comes from the world of Malchus. Malchus is very influential. Malchus gets you to do things. So we always say, like when the Beatles would play, like the girls would, it's like go crazy, pull out their hair, like rip their clothes. Like, what are you going crazy for? The Beatles! They would go nuts. Cry. Like, he looked in my direction in the stadium. Because from Malchus, music is very influential. So be careful who you listen to. Make it holy. Yes?
Do you have a holy playlist?
It's very holy playlist.
How about that?
Drop the link.
We'll talk.
I need that for real.
Yosef Kardun, you heard him tonight?
Yeah.
He's a holy. Music comes from a deep, deep place in the person. So wherever that person is holding, it goes into you. It's mashpia, it's mazriya into you, their consciousness. So you want to be careful who's being mazriya into you. V'dai lamed. So the final voice is the voice of the Nachash. As the Nachash is spreading and shedding its skin, and 7 means all the parts of the world, 7 notes in the musical scale, 7 seas, 7 colors in the spectrum.
7 colors too?
7 colors. 7 is this world. The Maharal goes at length, 7. 6 days of the week, and the 7th is Shabbos. People have tried to make a different work week. Nobody has ever changed the 7-day week. Ever. It's an interesting thing. Like, why should it be 7?
Torah.
7 is so ingrained in this world. There were cultures that tried to make like a shorter week and then like 4 days, weekend, 4 days. Nothing ever stuck. 7 is it. It's this world. 7 is this world. So the Nachash, who's every 7 years shedding the skin, 7 means all of the powers of this world. It means all the powers. Okay, hear this well. The snake. You know what the snake is?
The Yetzirah?
Yeah. The snake is the influence of this world, that it gets you lost in all the 7 dimensions of this world, but you forget Hashem in it. You get lost in the sauce. Before Adam ate from the tree, where was the snake?
On the tree.
He was outside of Adam. Snake was external. Which means an Adam's body, Chazal say, was like made out of light. The fingernails are just like an analogy for the body. Meaning it was covered. The fingernail is an interesting thing because it's covered, but it's see-through. It's like it shines. So Adam was covered with light. So the body revealed the soul. So the body didn't obstruct his connection to Hashem whatsoever. The body revealed the relationship. That's why Adam and Chava were without clothing on. And there was no embarrassment. Everything was holy. And they were even having marital relations in the garden. And everything it was like putting on tefillin. It was the same thing.
Hand in heaven.
So at that point before the snake, everything was holy. What was the snake's argument? If you eat from the Eitz Hadas, then you'll be like Hashem. Be able to see everything, literally. What he meant is you're going to become very involved with Gashmias consciousness, physicality.
Wasn't he just lying to convince them to eat the fruit?
It's not a lie. You would become. And you're going to be like Hashem because now you could either create or destroy worlds. Now it's true, Adam made a decision because now he would actually get to a higher level because he would earn his perfection as opposed to just being given to him. Because now he'd have to choose between his body and his neshama. As soon as he ate, all of a sudden they became very involved in body consciousness. They saw, that was the first thing the Torah said. They just saw their bodies. They realized you didn't have clothing on before. But now they got involved in this body. They became identified with the body. The body became serpentile. The body's now reptilian. We didn't have this skin before. It went from or with an aleph, light, to or with an ayin, which is skin. We had bodies of light, which is an aleph, and it turned into bodies of skin, which is ayin vav resh. Aleph vav resh is light, ayin vav resh is skin, which is the process of going from aleph is gematria 1, ayin is 70. It's the process of going from unity consciousness all the way into multiplicity. That's like what happened by the Tower of Babylon, where they all spoke one language, and then they got split up into 70 languages, to the 70 nations of the world. From absolute one unity consciousness, that's or to or with an I. Even the letter, an aleph, when you say or, it's like it's or. Whereas an ayin is guttural, it's a thicker, it's all, right? Ayin. You gotta be Sephardi or work on it.
I am Sephardi. I can't make that sound.
You gotta be more Sephardi.
That's right. Ba'al givurot. Shema.
Hang out with a Moroccan.
Yeah, you gotta get more involved. Yeah, you'll get it. But you could see even the letter itself is more gas. It's more physical, right? It's more like this sauce.
Gets you more involved.
That's what I'm saying. It's more symptom. It's more multiplicity. So Adam became more now involved in the world. Everything before that was just simple. You know what it was? Avodas Hashem. Tamimis. All of a sudden now Adam has got thumbs. Like this. There's distractions. It's complex. You got the internet now. Wow, I can do all sorts of stuff. Powerful stuff, right? That's what the bite out of the apple is. He ate from the tree. That's the tree. You see everything. You're very powerful. You're very powerful. Be careful, though. Be careful. Don't get lost in the sauce. So the snake became now in us. It's the voice of Amalek. The analogy of the Chayvus HaLavav is so deep. The snake, the Yetzer Hara, is your worst enemy. He's trying to destroy you. But he's risen. He's disguised himself and risen your internal ranks and become your closest advisor. He's like a secret agent that he's in your head. And he's whispering in your ear to do this and that and the other. You don't even know. He's trying to destroy you. You think he's trying to help you. He's like whispering. There's this old movie, I think it's called Aladdin. I have this picture in my head of Jafar. I think he was like the evil advisor, like whispering to do bad things. It's like that mamish, pretending he's on your side. Pretending. Worst enemy. But that's why the snake became integrated. We became serpentine. But the tzaddikim are always trying to remove the reptilianness. They're trying to make themselves more filled with the light of the soul, to become less involved with the snake consciousness. But look at this. We're moving towards the end. So says the snake, "V'nisgaber ha'hester v'nisgashem ha'guf, k'de'is b'zar ha'kodesh, u'beged boigdim b'godoi." That Adam got a beged. You know what a beged is? Clothing. You know what the word clothing means? Beged means boged. Boged is the same word, the same as Beis Gimel Dalet. Means to rebel. Missing an aleph. Beis Gimel Dalet. Boged. To rebel. To rebel is a beged. When they rebelled, they got begodim. They started to become involved in their beged because they were boged, because they rebelled. Don't be so lost in the sauce of your beged. It's a begida. It's being boged. Be more into the neshama that's on the inside. But now that we're in the body, Adam did what he did. Now that Adam did what he did. And now we have a body. Oh, a Kohen. Thank you very much. And things happen. And they found out that they weren't wearing clothing. V'yedu ki eiru mimhem. Ki mesibas ha'cheit neshava eitzlam mokum busha. Interesting. As soon as he ate, they became aware that they're like embarrassed.
So they put on the leaves, no?
That's right. They put on the leaves, the clothing. They make clothing, and really, it means that they got bodies then. And then they put a leaf over there as well. But before that, their bodies were made out of light. I heard of Tat say it one time so beautifully. Before the Chet, if you were to look at Adam and Chava, all you would see is neshama, conceptually. If you would look very closely, you could make out a wisp of a body. After the chet, when you look at somebody, all you see is body, and if you look very closely, you see the wisp of a neshama sparkling in their eye. See what happened? Before, the neshama was in charge, and it was just shining. The body, you could barely see it. After the chet, the body became the main thing. Bunch of schnitzels walking around. Let's go. That's why I stay away from the schnitzel. Don't do it. OD on the schnitzel. You don't want to just like strengthen body consciousness. Right? It gets us every time, the sauce. So, after the chet, we're now very identified with the physical world. We're in the world of body consciousness. V'nisgaber ha'hester ad shechusha mishush cherpo. Ad kedei kat, that we're so involved in the body that there's busha. Where's the only place, though, we're not embarrassed to uncover? The face. Because the face has das. That's where your das is. Your das knows that I have nothing to be embarrassed of. So your head is uncovered. Because you have nothing to be embarrassed about. You have das in your head. Das of you have your wisdom. You're connected to the truth. Do I have anything to be embarrassed about? Or is it just the snake is messing with my head? Is Hashem not in my body also? Is Hashem not deep down in the Tahoim? Is He not also in the dark places? Dark also means just places that you don't think Hashem is shining. It just seems like physical, just dense.
Why is it the fact that there's das in the face that makes us not embarrassed about?
Because I know that Hashem is there. But isn't Hashem everywhere? Isn't Hashem everywhere?
We're not embarrassed to show our hands.
He's truly everywhere.
The hands, we hope, is what's taking your das and actualizing it. Actualizing your das in the world. Says the Rambam that basar is a neutricon for busha, srucha, rima. I love the Rambam. Busha, there's embarrassment to just, walk around without clothing on. Srucha, it's, filled with feces. Malatanya says if you ever have like a desire to, God forbid, to do an adulterous act, God forbid, chas v'shalom. So he says, a way to just like, stop the buzz? Just remember that inside of this person is just a pouch of feces. Just a bag of waste that's getting ready to just, release itself. It's like a buzzkill. Right? What is the body? Right? And rima. A basa is busha, srucha, and rima. Rima is worms. What's the body going to turn into? Worm food? Except the tzaddikim. If you can also show that in your body is kedusha, because isn't it? So now we get to David HaMelech. Now we get to David HaMelech digging all the way down to the deepest places, looking for this light. And dafka, in the deepest, darkest places, comes David HaMelech. V'lezehu atzaka gedoyle me'oid. Madua hister kach Hashem yisborach she'nimtza eitza la'odem chushim shem cherva be'pe'ula shehem be'choshech nikroim nachash. Look at this is deep Torahs. You know what nachash means? Nachash means the scream of the nachash is our scream. Shem, why did you make it that I have parts of me and senses that seem to be devoid of you. I don't want them to be devoid of you. That I use my 5 senses, my body, in ways that run away from you. And I don't want to. I want my body to also run to you, Hashem. The Gemara says that David HaMelech, he would get up in the morning, he was a king, he was like busy, you understand? He had a lot to do. And he'd start walking to do, all of his responsibilities. And the Gemara says, he would just all of a sudden look up and he'd be sitting at his stender, learning Torah, learning a Gemara, and steiging a Tosfos. How did this happen? Because his legs would just walk him there. His body became given over to Hashem, that even his body just walked to the base of Hashem. He just walked to Hashem. So this scream of the Nachash, as I don't want that my senses should take me away from you. This scream, I don't want my body and my senses to hide you from me anymore, Hashem. I don't want to use them for things that I'm not proud of. I want to be proud of everything that I do with my body, because I can use it for you. This body, this physical body. This is not Yom Kippur anymore. This body, in here, in this world.
Simchas Torah, we use our body.
That's for sure, Simchas Torah. The Simchas Torah is coming from Hoshanah Rabbah. Hoshanah Rabbah is the day of the body, of showing that the body is holy. So how do we wake up just total, just physicality? The scream of the Nachash, the scream of the snake, that even my body is screaming out, I don't want to do things that hide you from me, Hashem. You know how we do it? L'chein isa sham b'zar HaKodesh, loy itar kala dahai nachash ella basar zine v'dak iu kad barnash. You know when that voice is finally heard, of the screams of all of us saying, when a guy mamish woke up in a puddle of his own whatever. We won't say what it is, but it usually happens after he shotguns a few beers or something, does some other stupid thing that he's not proud of, at some party that he probably shouldn't have gone to. And he wakes up and he's like, what? Why is this body of mine hiding you from me, Hashem? I don't want to do these things anymore. Scream, Hashem, let me stop this. How do you show that the body is not bad? I just need to wake it up. I gotta shake it up. Do you know what voice finally wakes up and answers this voice? It's the voice that we're about to hear in a couple hours when we take the Aravas and we hit the ground 5 times. That voice, the chavotas, is that we're, and it's such a physical act. It's the most physical plant, no tam, no reach, nothing like just, and we use our hands, and we're hitting the ground. We're saying, I want this body of mine to be holy. I do this total physical act.
What about tashlach? Like, isn't it similar? Like you're kind of like throwing your little, right?
Tashlach is
it's a bit similar. Like.
Tashlach is very profound avodah. Here, though, it's so much physicality. It's a ravis on the ground, and you're waking up the malchus. The malchus is the body. You're waking her up. You're opening her up to kedusha.
So
it says that all of Hoshanah Rabbah is the waking up of the Malchus, that she can receive the Yichud of Shmini Atzeres. Atzeres also means to hold, to stop. That when the seed goes from Shmini Atzeres to the Malchus, that it doesn't, God forbid, miscarry. That the blessing is retained. You're able to hold on to that. And that is the fruits that you're going to have the whole year. But the final stage in that is the waking up of the Malchus that she's ready to receive. At the Malchus, she doesn't want anything else. She doesn't want to go to some bar and do something that she's not proud of. She doesn't want to do this. She just wants to use this body to receive the light of Hashem. That's David HaMelech. That's David Malka Mashiach. That's why David HaMelech is the ultimate vessel. Nothing else. Leis nagar meklum. I have nothing else. Loi gava libi. And that's what it means that David HaMelech is going all the way down, to pull up this light. We only get to this light if we go to the world of David HaMelech. That we want to be like the Malchus. That we're literally just... Sometimes you got to smack out all the nonsense. And sometimes if you're too nice to a guy who's going to the bar or something, you got to sometimes shake him up a bit. Wake up, soldier. You don't want this anymore. Wake up. Use yourself for good things. This is the chavatas. You're hitting the lowest part that it becomes totally refined out. That this body, all I want to use it for is for you. That was David HaMelech. That's the king of Israel. He has nothing except that this vessel should be a vessel for you, Hashem. And the whole day of Hoshanah Rabbah is one thing and one thing only. Hoshana Hashem. From that place, bring all the blessing and all the salvations and all the goodness. And on Shmini Atzeres, we're going to receive that seed, and it's going to be utzur, it's going to be retained within. And then that's exactly when the end of the din happens. It says that even though that on Hoshanah Rabbah night is when the Mesira is given over, is when the verdicts are given over, but bless you, but the Mamoinim, those who carry out judgments, only carry them out on the day of Shmini Atzeres, by Keser, by Kedusha. And then the next part of it happens, the final part on Zois Chanukah. This is the end of the story. That we receive the good judgment, and it's locked in, and the seed then flourishes and sprouts, because the Malchus, now, today is all about David HaMelech, the Malchus, the Shechina, Klal Yisrael, us, we're ready to receive. We're opening ourselves up to receive the godly light. We don't want anything else, Hashem. That's the maskon of Shmini Atzeres. We don't of Hoshanah Rabbah. We don't want anything else, Hashem. Only you. Nothing else. And that's why your Hallel today should be the greatest Hallel of the whole year. Nothing else, Hashem. We just want you. That's all we want, Hashem, is you. Should be Zoicha Mamish, Aboy Sain. To the Hoshanah Rabbah, to the great Hoshana, to have all these voices answered. There's something else which is also coming out tonight. It's called the Eitzah Mirachik. The Eitzah Mirachik means, the Zohar says that inside of every single Yid, inside of every single person, there's this voice, deep down. And usually we shut this voice out. We don't listen to this voice. But this voice is guiding us. It's beckoning us. It's the voice all the way deep down in the Tehom. It's trying to call us to something great. It's the voice that David HaMelech is always looking for. It's this voice that I know that Hashem, it's only you, that's the only thing that I want. That's David HaMelech's message to the whole world. It's all about Hashem. Nothing else. Just run to Hashem. Run to Hashem. Acha shoalti meis Hashem. Oisa avake shivti beveis Hashem. Kol yemei chaya. Says the Chasam Sofer. Why does it say Kol yemei chaya? All the days of my life. What about now? Like, how do I say all the days of my life from previous? All the days seemingly only going forward. No, David HaMelech means all the days, including maybe the times that he was falling. Says the Chasam Sofer. But Shivti Beveis Hashem, Kol Yemei Chayai, is talking about when you do tshuva out of love. Because Chazal say when you do tshuva out of love, that even the bad things you did turned into mitzvahs. Because those things also brought you to Hashem. It was all part of the journey. So Shivti Beveis Hashem Kol Yemei Chayai, I want to sit in the day all my life. Which means I want to start turning even the times that I wasn't sitting in your house. I was sitting in the bar. But I was also looking for you there, Hashem. Because my neshama was looking for you. And in this world, that's all I'm doing. I'm only looking for you, Hashem, in this world. David HaMelech is teaching us this Eitzim Irachai, that there's a deep voice inside of us. You have to listen for it. This is the voice at the beginning of Nevuah, which is the two parts of the two badam of the Aravas, which is Netzach and Hoid. This is where the Nevuah is coming from. Netzach and Hoid, the Zohar says, call your two legs. Your two legs are very interesting, right? There's two badam of Aravas. The two willow branches are your two legs. Your two legs, Aravas is also the language of an Ariv, a guarantor. When you take out a loan, you get somebody to sign the loan. You know, your legs are your guarantors. They're walking with you. They're going to give testimony about you. Your legs are an interesting thing. They're not part of your body. They have no essential organs in them. Chazal say they're not really you. They're not really you. You don't need them to be you. But they take you to wherever you want to go. They actualize you. They bring the you out into the world. Those are the two Aravas. The Aravas are this deep, deep place where you're listening deep within to this voice that you can only hear when you get rid of all of the, it's about me. You just listen. No tam, no reya. You're listening to the Eitzim Erachik, this deep place within. That's what David HaMelech is doing. He's digging the shisim. He's looking for the voice. He wants this ore. He's going all the way down, looking for the ore, looking for the Eitzim Erachik. How do I find this light, this voice? On Hoshanah Rabbah, if you mamish listen, you get to this voice. Spend this day listening very well. Listening very well. You can hear these voices. You can hear all the voices. On Hoshanah Rabbah, you get to the world of David HaMelech, of Shivti Beveis Hashem, of Libi Chala Bekirbi, of Hoshana, of Ana Hashem Hoshia Na. Na means please. Na, like we said, is the 51st day, is Hoshanah Rabbah. So the Sfarim say, Ana Hashem, please Hashem, Hoshia, save what? Na. Save the 51st. Save the power of Na. Save the Na. Save us. That we don't lose sight of what Hoshanah Rabbah is, the 51st day. Save the ability of the Yid to say, no, please Hashem, I want to hear this Eitzah. Merachik. I want to hear the voice. I want to hear the voice. The physical part of me is also for you. I want to give everything to you. I want to be a David HaMelech B'kiyid that wakes everything up. That's the voice of the snake. That everything is to you. And when I play basketball and I schooled all those kids in the day camp and I show them that mamish, it's all for Avodas Hashem. That's the world of David HaMelech. Because there's no Toivus Hanas Atzma. It's not for me, Hashem. It's only for you. And I'm being moitzi yoker mezoylala, pulling out gold and silver and diamonds and rubies from the darkest places. Because I dug all the way to the Tahoim and I brought it all up. David HaMelech is the one that brings this water. These are the waters that we're talking about, to go deep and find these waters, the living waters. To have living waters, Mayim Chaim. A person has to always be aware, like, how are my waters? My water is healthy. And this is the day we're mamish davening for the water of the world. And tomorrow we're going to start mamish davening. The water should come down. You know, the water is Hashem, so to speak, giving blessing. He's inseminating the world with blessing. And this is the day that we're opening up the Malchus, that we're opening up the land, that she wants to receive the blessing. It's a very deep day. So David HaMelech says that all the physicality is just open to you. We're not running away from the blessing that you're trying to give. All we want is you. So that tomorrow when the rain starts, that we're open to it. We didn't run somewhere else. And that's what it means that Yitzchak Avinu today is opening up and he's digging the wells again. The wells that got stooped up by the Plishtim. That weren't able to have the waters, to receive the waters. There's a block in the waters. That today we remove that block, that the waters can come through. That we're ready to receive the waters. We want Hashem to bring down the waters. And when the waters come down, what do you think the land will do? It'll produce fruits. We'll see good peiros. We'll see a good year, mamish, of blessing for all of us, for all humanity. And what are the peiros going to be? Closest to Hashem. Health, bracha, happiness. That's why in Shmini Atzeres it says you can ask for anything. Everything's open, Shmini Atzeres. It's the final day of the king. When the king is leaving, he says, I'll give you anything. Just ask me. All the gates are open. It's all open. But today we got to prepare the Malchus. We have to open up the physicality. We have to get her ready to receive the blessing. So we should be Zoicha Rabbi Yisai Mamish, to open up and to know that all of this world is just given to you, Hashem. To daven, Hashem, please let me be given over to you. I just want to read you a moment of the tefillah that Tzvi Meyer has on Hoshanah Rabbah. I'm just going to read it in English. I'm going to translate, and any mistranslation is my fault alone. Please, Hashem, in heaven, only you know how much and how powerful the Piskatava, the final judgment of these days of Hoshanah Rabbah and Shmini Atzeres, all of what it means. And therefore help every single one of us that we should have a good Piskatava, a good giving over of the final judgment with Chesed and Rachamim. Father in heaven, only you know and is known to you the whole situation of the whole world. And we're so close, mamish, to the end of the story. And we're asking, please, have compassion on us. That it should be compassion in a way of absolute kindness. Father in heaven, Avinu Shebashamayim, we're now mamish in the days of Zman Simchaseinu. Help us now that we should have such a simcha, a final revelation of simcha for all of us. The shleimus dika simcha. That there shouldn't be any chas v'shalom tsar of any single person, any yid, no pain. That God forbid there shouldn't be any what's called kalanim iroishi, kalanim izroyai, That Hashem Kaviyachol, you feel the pain of all of us Kaviyachol. As if to say that Hashem is saying, my own head hurts, my own arm hurts. And we're saying, please, Hoshia Lamancha Lakeinu, Hoshana Lamancha Bayreina, Hoshana Hashem, for your sake. That please, there should be an absolute simcha. And Hashem, you know all the challenges that we're going through in Ruchnias, Gashmias, and all the women that are widows, and men without their wives, and children without parents, all the broken hearts, the broken homes. And there's just too much to explain. And therefore, we're pleased davening. Help us that we should have all the blessing come down now on Hoshanah Rabbah and Shmini Atzeres. And it should be an absolute overflowing of blessing, of bracha ad b'li dai mamish. We should be zoicha b'siyata d'shmaya that this Hoshanah Rabbah to open up all the gates, and to have once and for all David Malka Mashiach, David HaMelech, get up from the ground, and Mashiach come, Nechamutz begodim, come, and Harazesim should open up right here, right now. It should pop right open, and Mashiach should come and greet us. Now come daven with us in Eshet Torah. On the balcony, we'll make one giant minyan to all of Klal Yisrael. And that minyan, he'll just guide us right to Beis HaMikdash. We should be Zoicha Mamish, that everyone should do tshuva shleima now on the Hoshanah Rabbah, the tshuva me'ava, and the Tahoim should open up again. And we should fix that voice of the snake when we hit the chavatas, we mamtik the chamisha gevuras. We should be zoicha to all the hamtakas, all the sweetening of all the dinim. And all these days, as the melech is getting ready to leave, and the kasha lai predascham, and he's saying, please, just one more day, and we're going to hold on to the king. And he says, ask me anything you want, and we're mamish going to pour our heart out. Hoshanah Rabbah. Say, Hoshana Hashem lemancha lekeinu. Hoshana Hashem, please save us. Ana Hashem Hoshana, Ana Hashem atzlichana. We should be zerch the mamish mitshit titkeinu tchias hamesim bin nashlishi b'mher v'yemenu. Amen ve'amen. Oy yacha shoa v'avatim me Hashem. Oy yacha shoa v'avatim Hashem. Oh boy, so yavake. Oy shifti beveis Hashem. Oy boy, so yavake. Oy latsoy benoy amenoy Hashem ulevake beicha. Ay 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 shifti beveis Hashem. Kavo yemei chayai, lasai zenai amenai Hashem, ulevake beicha. Ay 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 sheftei beveis Hashem. Kavo yemei chayai, lasai zenai amenai Hashem, ulevake beicha. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala lecha yolami. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala lecha yolami. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala lecha yolami. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala Chayolami. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala lechayolami. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala lechayolami. Hamelucha ve'hamemshala. Mem Shalom Shalom Chaya Melech Mem Shalom Chaya Lami Azehada Levusha Vatis Yai Macharoi Azehada Levusha Vatis Yai Macharoi La 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 ay 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 la 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 ay la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 good morning.